He is a villainous demon emperor who is passionate about acting, expressing himself to the point that he almost forgets he was once a demon emperor. Moreover, he is filled with cunning schemes and dirty tricks. Even the villain system wants to reform and not follow him. Other villains only want to eliminate the Heaven's Chosen One to survive, while he wants to take the Heaven's Chosen One as his little brother to confront the heavenly Tao. Whatever opportunities the Heaven's Chosen One has, he seizes them first, while leaving the troubles for the Heaven's Chosen One to handle, cleverly playing his role to entice the Heaven's Chosen One into offering both his treasures and future wife. That's enough of an introduction, let's return to the plot. In a small alley with no one around, 3 men were cornering a young girl against the wall, teasing her. "Shaoling heir, come with this young master." The girl, terrified, pleaded. "No, please don't. Help me." Not far away, on a rock ledge, a male figure suddenly appeared. He excitedly gazed at the scene and joyfully exclaimed, "Am I reborn? And I even have a system, the heavens are not destroying me after all." In front of him, an information panel appeared. System successfully cut off the bindings. The moment after, the memory of this man flooded back, making him pale as a ghost. "In my previous life, as the only villain in this world, I was besieged to death by countless Heaven's Chosen Ones." Thinking of this, he viciously made a determination. "In this life, I will definitely reclaim everything that belongs to me." Just then, the little system threw a ring onto his hand and explained, "Congratulations, host, you have received the newbie gift package, Villain Halo. When wearing this Villain Halo, you will no longer be affected by the intelligence deduction settings of the villain." The young man incredulously asked again, "I don't feel anything at all. System, are you mistaken? Did I die before due to foolish behavior?" The little system calculated with its feet and replied, "If nothing is wrong, then don't call me system. I am very busy." As soon as the words were spoken, a screen appeared. Host identity, Shaotianu. Cultivation, True Spirit Realm. Fate points, none. Shaotianu asked in confusion, "What is fate points?" The little system explained. Host gains fate points by cutting off the opportunities of Heaven's Chosen Ones, and fate points can be exchanged for rewards in the system. But when Shaotianu opened the system shop to take a look, he questioned the seriousness of the system. "Is your system center really serious about this?" Just as he said this, he imagined a mesmerizing illusion realm that fell silent in his mind. A few seconds later, Shaotianu calmed down and denied, "Regardless of anything, with the current system, that scene from my previous life will definitely never happen again. As long as I continue to cut off opportunities, I will become the greatest Heaven's Chosen One in the world." The more he thought, the more excited he became and laughed heartily. In the distance, the sound of Ling Heir's cries for help echoed. Immediately, the system issued a mission, detecting the opportunities of Heaven's Chosen One Shaotianu so nearby. Shaotianu then seriously analyzed, could that sound for help be the opportunity of Heaven's Chosen One? The heroic rescue of a beautiful woman often appears with the Heaven's Chosen One, I should go and check it out. In that alley, Ling Heir was cornered by a thug, who grabbed her by the throat and threatened, "Shut up and behave, or not only will your life be ruined, but your useless Gidge will also die." Ling Heir cried and pleaded, "Don't harm my Gidge." Hearing that, the thug immediately grabbed her shirt and coaxed, "Don't worry, as long as you behave, nothing will happen to your boyfriend." As soon as he finished speaking, he tore it apart amidst Ling Heir's screams. The 3 thugs were excited, taunting, "Scream, scream, go ahead, even if you scream your throat raw, no one will come to save you." Just as the words ended, someone really did arrive. A indifferent voice rang out. "Hey!" The person was none other than Shaotianu. He looked at this group and thought to himself, is this really the opportunity of Heaven's Chosen One? I didn't expect the opportunity to be this person. The little system reported, the opportunities of Heaven's Chosen One can exist in any form. Shaoling Heir is the junior sister of Shaotianu Su, picked up by Heaven's Chosen One. She possesses the Taiyin mysterious body, and if they dual cultivate together, they can achieve supreme cultivation. At that moment, 2 thugs drew their knives, pointing them at Shaotianu in a threatening manner. "Do you know who we are? Dare to meddle in our affairs? In this entire academy, We are the gods. Do you believe that with just one word from me, I can make sure you won't see the sun tomorrow? Su Tian asked in confusion. System, have they always been this brave? Are these two refinement body realm cultivators really so arrogant? The system replied helplessly, this is a setting for reduced intelligence. Upon receiving the answer, Su Tian cried out, no wonder in his past life he pretended in front of the siege of so many heaven's chosen ones. It turned out to be a setting for reduced intelligence. As if reading his thoughts, the little system added another jab. No, it's because the host has a nature that enjoys boasting. Su Tian, overwhelmed with emotion, immediately shot at a glare, shifting his focus to those behind him. Who told you to speak the truth? Meanwhile, on the other side, seeing his two companions sluggish and not taking action, the leader kicked both of them and cursed. You useless idiots, I told you two to handle it, why is it taking so long? What are you doing to make a living? After dealing with his two subordinates, he cast a glance at Su Tian, threateningly. Little guy, you really like meddling in other people's business, don't you? Su Tian didn't respond, but looked at the system information panel. Identity Qin Wang, status early stage minor antagonist, cultivation Dao Palace realm. Introduction, a minor antagonist appearing in the early stages. Low cultivation, low intellect, but possessing a secret treasure. Later, the heaven's chosen one Shaotianu will kill to obtain the treasure. Reading this, he sighed, I didn't expect to have an unexpected harvest, this little guy actually has a precious treasure. Saying this, he revealed his aura. The gangsters were horrified and screamed, True Spirit Realm, who are you? There are very few strong people with True Spirit Realm strength in the academy, how come I don't know you? Su Tian replied indifferently, oh, I just arrived today. Upon hearing this, the leader exclaimed in shock, you are Su Tian. Su Tian, a person from the Su family of the Qin Empire. Just as he said, Su Tian is from the military lineage, the sole heir of the Su family, and his father is Su Quangzhan, the #1 general of the Qin Empire, with a cultivation of semi-great emperor realm. The Su family has countless strong individuals, with no fewer than 10 above saint strong. The immortal ancient forbidden land is the secret realm of the Heaven Immortal Academy, which will be opened soon. So the Su family has joined the Heaven Immortal Academy on behalf of the Qin Empire to prepare for the war to seize forbidden land opportunities. Confirming the identity of the visitor, the leader immediately knelt down, and all three kept bowing and pleading. I was ignorant and did not recognize Mount Tai. I did not realize it was Su young master who graced us with his presence. Su Tian remained calm and said, you know me? Well, that makes things simple. Your people have clashed with me, so tell me, what should we do about this? The leader didn't need to think, he shot a glare at his two subordinates, scolding these useless, blind fools. After thinking for a moment, he cleared his throat, hurriedly crawled over, and offered a laughing gift, saying, please accept this, Su young master. Little system jumped out to introduce, this is the Forbidden Land entry token. With this token, you can enter the immortal ancient forbidden land and receive those opportunities. Su Tian didn't hesitate and took it, thinking to himself, is this the opportunities of the heaven's chosen one? It looks very ordinary, but I remember I have this token too, right? Little system explained, Shaotianu was originally a disciple outside the sect and did not have the qualifications to enter the immortal ancient forbidden land. According to the original plot, he would kill Qin Wang, obtain the token to enter the immortal ancient forbidden land, and then acquire a supreme treasure from the forbidden land. Su Tian listened and said deviously, system, I just thought of something really interesting. Looking at his smug face, the system was also taken aback. The host looks quite sinister. Su Tian schemed, what do you think, if I give this token to Shaotianu, then quietly follow him and steal all the opportunities that rightfully belong to him in the immortal ancient forbidden land? What do you think? The system exclaimed excitedly, the host is so wicked, but I like it. Imagining that scene, Su Tian laughed loudly, leaving the three thugs confused. Realizing he had lost his composure, he pointed at the three and scolded, why are you still here? Get lost. The three didn't dare to argue and quickly ran away. After handling that, Su Tian went over to where Ling Er was huddled and gently asked, "Are you okay?" Ling Er didn't dare to open her eyes and shouted, "Don't come over here." Su Tian slowly looked her over, assessing her. She didn't look bad, but her face was as red as a hot teapot. Now Ling Er was regaining her composure, opened her eyes, and exclaimed, "So handsome." She stood up respectfully and said, "Thank you, brother, for saving me." Su Tian replied indifferently, "No need for pleasantries, I just happened to help." After saying that, he took out the token and handed it to her with instructions. "This is the token for the Forbidden Land. Only those who hold this token can enter the immortal ancient Forbidden Land to seek opportunities. Consider this as compensation for you." Ling Er, hearing this, was a bit confused and rejected it, saying, "This is too precious. I can't." Su Tian placed it in her hand and walked away, not forgetting to call back, "Take it. I already have one, so leaving it with me would be useless." Watching his retreating figure, Ling Er felt moved once again, thinking he was really handsome. After a moment of daze, she suddenly realized. "Oh no, I forgot to ask the name of this senior brother." Meanwhile, Su Tian was hiding a distance away, telling himself, "I don't know Shaotianu Su. If I directly give the token to him, he will definitely suspect me, but if it's his junior sister, he might not." The little system also expressed its exasperation. "Congratulations, host, for receiving the favor of Shao Ling Er. It has influenced the fate of the heaven's chosen one, Shaotianu Su, to a certain extent, achieving a fate score of 300. Hearing about the reward, Su Tian immediately cursed at the little system by hitting his head. "System, you're playing with me. I clearly cut off Shaotianu Su's opportunities." The system, unwilling to back down, replied, "But you gave it back to him." Su Tian retorted, "I'm playing the long game to catch the big fish, do you understand?" While scolding the system, he noticed someone approaching Shao Ling Er. A young man dressed as an outside sect disciple landed and asked her, "Ling Er, are you okay?" Seeing him, Su Tian smugly thought to himself, "Here he is, the heaven's chosen one has appeared." After learning the whole story, Shaotianu Su went berserk. "Damn it, who dares to touch my junior sister?" Shao Ling Er took out the Forbidden Land token and said, "Gidge, I'm fine. A great Gidge saved me and even gave me a good item." Shaotianu Su looked at the token in surprise. "So it's a Forbidden Land token. Only inside sect disciples are qualified to obtain it. Could the one who saved you be an inside sect disciple?" Ling Er softly replied, "I don't know either. But they referred to that guy as Su Young Master." Shaotianu Su, upon hearing Su Young Master, swallowed every word. He immediately pictured the earlier scene in his mind and cautiously reminded Ling Er, from now on, don't associate with that kind of rich kid anymore. The rich kids are not good people at all." Immediately, the little system popped up with a notification. Heaven's chosen one Shaotianu Su has developed a rift with Shao Ling Er. Host receives 200 fate points. Looking at its expression, Su Tian helplessly scolded, "Come on, system, can you not appear so suddenly? You scared me to death." On the other hand, after hearing him, Ling Er lowered her head and mumbled, "I understand, brother." But just a second later, remembering the handsome face of Su Tian, she immediately charged up with 100% energy and shouted, "Su Tian Gidge can't be a bad person." Knowing he couldn't persuade her any further, Shaotianu Su said, "Let's go, Ling Er, with it, I am now qualified to enter the immortal ancient Forbidden Land. Finally, I can explore the secret realm with you. They say there are countless opportunities to obtain spirit treasures in there. If we can get just one, we won't have to be bullied by others anymore." Su Tian felt encouraged upon hearing this and told himself that when he entered, he would step ahead of him and seize every opportunity he had. The more he spoke, the more his face seemed blissfully dazed. A while later, at the entrance of the immortal ancient Forbidden Land, the sound of the thug rang out. "Uncle, here's the thing, please allow me to go in." The old man in charge of the entrance thought to himself in confusion, "It can't be, the legendary young master of the Su family, who commits so many evils that are hard to write down, how could he possibly do a good deed? He then turned back to ask, do you know what that woman's name is? The thug replied, her name is Shaoling Air, she's a new disciple of the Elixir Pavilion inside the sect, and there's also a Gidge. This person is a disciple from the outside sect, that token must have been sold for him to use. At that moment, two siblings from the Shao family approached. The thug shouted angrily, it's you, just as I was talking about Chow Chow, here comes Chow Chow. Ling uncle, he is the outside sect disciple. The Ling elder understood after hearing this and hurriedly said, the immortal ancient forbidden land is a place that contains the secrets of our heaven immortal academy. Outside sect disciples are not allowed to enter. Shaotianu was unconvinced and took out the forbidden land token in response. Based on what? I have the forbidden land token here, which gives me the right to enter. The thug then turned around and cursed, just relying on your token is not enough. That token clearly belongs to me, but you used underhanded means to steal it. Shaotianu could no longer hold back. He raised his sword in threat, you bullied my sister, and now you are slandering my reputation. You can consider yourself dead. This time, old grudges and new grudges will be settled together. The thug was not afraid and continued to curse, are you planning to lay hands on me? Just relying on your pitiful refined body realm. Shaotianu coldly replied, vacuous sword technique. Immediately, the thug took a hit and spat blood. The Ling elder's expression tightened, thinking to himself, the sword is really fast, even I cannot see this technique clearly. In the future, it will definitely be a threat, I must kill him. After thinking this, he struck a palm towards Shaotianu. Easily suppressed him, shouting, you thief, using despicable means to harm the disciples of our Heaven Immortal Academy, you want to die. Seeing Su Tian still lurking in the crowd, the little system urged, host, stop spectating, we have discovered the opportunities of Shaotianu, the heaven's chosen one, nearby. Su Tian peered out and asked, where? Where? Just then, an old man slowly approached, stroking his beard and commenting, a truly astonishing sword technique, good little guy, this kid is destined to achieve supreme swordsmanship in the future. Su Tian then asked, system, is that old man the opportunity you mentioned? The little system replied, that's right, do you want to spend 100 fate points to see the destiny of the target? Su Tian immediately chose, yes, responding, this damn system dares to ask for my fate. Soon after, the information about the old man appeared. Su Qiancheng, an elder of the hidden world from the Heavenly Immortal Academy, whose status is only second to the president of the Heavenly Immortal Academy. His granddaughter, Su Qingxue, has been suffering from an unexplained illness, sleeping deeply for over 20 years until Shaotianu obtained the immortal holy pill and revived her. Later, Su Qiancheng secretly protected Shaotianu for many years to repay his kindness. He was indeed a strong protector for Shaotianu in the early days. Reading this, Su Tian pondered and murmured, is there really such good news? Then how could I possibly let it slip by? I will seize this opportunity. At the same time, Shaotianu broke free from Ling Elder and ran away. The elder did not bother to chase him, only standing there, casting a spell and shouting, you want to leave after killing fellow disciples? Do you think the rules of the Heavenly Immortal Academy are just for show? Where is the law enforcement elder? Disable this thief's cultivation and take him to the law enforcement hall to await punishment. Immediately, another old man rushed out to attack. At that moment, Su Tian appeared next to Shaotianu and intercepted the blow for him. Ling Elder was astonished and yelled, who are you? Ling Elder darkly thought, this person's strength is very formidable, he was able to easily break through my heavenly prison great formation. Before he could gather his thoughts, the thug quickly knelt down and shouted, Su young master, it's you? Ling Er also hurried over, calling, big brother. Su Tian acted righteous and replied, I was just about to visit the immortal ancient forbidden land for a bit, but I unexpectedly ran into you here. His demeanor made Shaotianu even angrier, but he couldn't pull himself away from Ling Er, blushing and admiring, he is so handsome. Hearing what the others said, Ling Elder thought to herself, he is Su Tian, the legitimate heir of the prestigious Su family in the Daqin Empire, right? It is said that the Su family is powerful, dominating the realm, and even the royal family must steer clear of their influence, not daring to offend them. Recognizing who had arrived, everyone present bowed to Su Tian, paying respects to the Su Tian young master. Watching the reactions of the crowd, Shaotianu so angrily cursed inwardly, these people who fawn over the powerful. Meanwhile, Shaoling Heir grew even more enamored and infatuated. So the elder brother is named Su Tian and is also our senior brother, I will remember that. Su's senior brother is truly remarkable, even the elders must bow and worship when they see him. Su Tian continued to play the righteous role, cheerfully waving his hand, esteemed elders, you are too courteous, these two are old acquaintances of mine, may I ask if the elders could grant me a little favor? At this point, he smugly asked the system, tell me, with my strength and elegance, wouldn't the people in that dark place immediately become my servants? The system pouted and didn't bother to talk to him, while Su Qiancheng looked at Su Tian with a different perspective. True spirit realm cultivation, breaking through. Except for the formation set by Ling Old Man, this little guy, with his extraordinary status and identity, is still so humble. He really doesn't bully others because of his power. Whether it's talent, strength, or temperament, he is top-notch. Perhaps he can truly take out the unique immortal holy pill from the immortal ancient forbidden land. Just as he finished speaking, the system displayed a notification. Gained 500 fate points, host has gained the upper hand, cut off the path of the heavens chosen one, received favor from the seniors, and obtained 500 fate points. Meanwhile, over here, Elder Ling and the thug clasped their hands together and smiled, saying, so he is a friend of Su young master. Thus, everything that happened before was merely a misunderstanding. Exactly, just a misunderstanding. Shaotianu heard this and seethed inwardly. A group of flattering people. Su Tian calmly looked at Ling Heir and said, if it's a misunderstanding, then let them come in. Ling Elder immediately responded, of course, I invite you all in. I must remind you, although there are countless opportunities in the immortal ancient forbidden land, it is also full of dangers. If you encounter a life and death crisis, please crush the token, the power of the law within the token will bring you back. Hearing this, Shaotianu became even angrier. He cursed inwardly, is there really a need for more reminders? Does the change in attitude need to be so obvious? Su Tian calmly clasped his hands and replied, thank you for the reminder, elder. Shaoling Heir softly called, Su's senior brother, let's go together. After saying that, the three of them entered the forbidden land together. Ling Elder looked after them and complained to the thug, look at what you've done, you almost got us killed. The Su family is not a place we can offend. Luckily, this young master of the Su family seems different from the legends, not full of malice. In the crowd, Su Qiancheng smiled in anticipation, Su family, Su Tian little guy, I hope you can truly achieve this. Su Tian was walking when he heard the system announce again, once again receiving the admiration of the hidden seniors, gaining 1,000 fate points. The host now has 1,900 fate points and is advised to use 1,800 fate points to exchange for a symbol that reveals information. After hearing this, Su Tian grimaced and scolded, the system is truly cruel. The little system waved and replied, will you exchange? With this talisman, all treasures that originally belonged to Shaotianu in this immortal ancient forbidden land will be yours. Su Tian helplessly chose to exchange. The little system then affixed a talisman to him and announced, success, the original storyline has been engraved into the host's memory. Upon hearing this, Su Tian stopped and said loudly, you too, now that we are here, we will separate here. He silently thought, I have to take the lead to seize your treasures, I can't let you follow. But Shaoling Heir then suggested, I want to go with Su's senior brother. Shaotianu, after a moment of astonishment, stammered and pointed at Su Tian, asking, junior sister, do you really want to go with him? Su Tian happily watched this scene. A moment later, when you see your opportunity being taken away, won't you be so angry that you might die? The system immediately announced, gained 500 fate points. The host suppressed the heaven's chosen one through the opportunity of the heaven's chosen one, earning fate points. Ling Heir, seeing Shaotianu's tense attitude, gently nodded. She added a phrase, Gidge, I have grown up now. This line struck Shaotianu's heart like a dagger. He silently wept in pain. The junior sister has grown up, how can I, as an older brother, keep her by my side forever? But he was not reconciled. He turned to Su Tian and asked, Su senior brother, do you have any thoughts on this? Su Tian confidently replied, Shao junior brother, you don't need to worry, with Ling Er junior sister being so adorable, how could I bear to refuse? Upon hearing this answer, Shaotianu went into a rage, cursing in his mind, it's precisely because you didn't refuse that I'm worried. If you dare to like my junior sister, I will beat you to death, trampling you down. However, he still had to hold back his laughter and said, then please take good care of my junior sister, Su's senior brother. Su Tian happily replied, it's what I should do. He felt proud inside, of course I will take good care of her. She is just a fat sheep. The system continued to cheer, host receives 1000 fate points. At a loss with Su Tian, Shaotianu turned to remind Ling Er, but her figure had already disappeared. He didn't know when Ling Er had been pulled away by Su Tian, leaving Shaotianu to chase after her, shouting in despair. Be careful, you must be careful. Ling Er's rationality was clouded by love, only feeling Su Tian's hand pulling her was warm and gentle, unable to hear the desperate shouts. After flying for a while, she softly asked, Su senior brother, where are we going? Su Tian glanced at her, thinking to himself, based on the previous storyline provided by the system, Shaotianu's next opportunity must be at the ancient sword tomb. He then replied, we are going to the sword tomb first. That place is very dangerous, remember to always stay close to me, don't leave my line of sight. Ling Er happily responded, I will listen to senior brother. As for Shaotianu, he suddenly held his chest and asked himself, why do I always feel like I've lost something very important, my heart always feels empty. Ling Er, my Ling Er, how can I live without you? Ling Er. He stood there dazed, murmuring. The three disciples saw this and rushed over, shouting, if you don't want to live, then don't live anymore. Meanwhile, Su Tian was leading Ling Er through an area filled with swords. Suddenly, a sword shot down from the sky. Su Tian quickly turned to embrace Ling Er and deflected the sword away. She looked at Su Tian, thinking to herself, this is really dangerous, if it weren't for senior brother Su, I'm afraid I would have been in danger. Su Tian casually asked, are you okay? Ling Er replied, trembling, I'm fine, really. Seeing her reaction, Su Tian felt a pang in his heart, thinking, her face is as red as a boiling teapot. At that moment, the system popped up and announced, the affection level of Xiao Ling Er has increased significantly. Currently, Xiao Ling Er's affection level is 80 points, with a maximum of 100. Congratulations, host, you have received a reward of 10,000 fate value. Upon hearing this, Su Tian felt pleased, this is too easy, in the blink of an eye, I've received 10 fate value. No wonder this is the greatest opportunity for Shaotianu. So he stood up as the hero and said, I know senior is here, there is no need for you to hide, it would be better to show yourself and meet. An elderly man stepped forward, surprised, and asked, how do you know of my existence? Who are you, after all? Su Tian modestly replied, Junior Su Tian has met Ku Jian Senior. The elderly man then asked, I didn't expect that I have fallen for so many years, yet there are still future generations that remember my title. You have come here for my inheritance, haven't you? If that is the case, you must know the rules of Ku Jian, I prefer young girls. Upon hearing this, Ling Er instinctively clung to Su Tian. Su Tian then got to show off. Old man, do you really think you are worthy of this young master coming all the way for you? He said half of it but swallowed the rest. If it weren't for wanting to snatch opportunities from Shaotianu, I wouldn't even bother to look at you. Upon hearing this, Ku Jian drew his sword and shouted, little guy, do you want to die? Su Tian did not back down and shouted back, a person who has been dead for so many years still dreams of young girls. People like you are truly unworthy of being a swordsman. Seeing Su Tian in action, Ling Er couldn't help but admire him. I didn't expect senior brother Su to have such a chivalrous spirit, surely, under the blue sky, no one is more perfect than senior brother Su. Su Tian struck down again and shouted, you are dead, go on your way, to where you should go. Great wilderness, you are imprisoned only. Ku Jian, having his arms severed, unwillingly murmured, how can you do this? Clearly, you are just in the true spirit realm, why is your strength comparable to that of the divine bridge realm? Su Tian took his sword and scolded, ignorant. As soon as the sword was in his hand, the system notification appeared. Sword name, Drywood Meat Spring, grade, high-grade spirit sword, description, this sword contains a very strong life aura, using this sword may prevent the body from decaying after death. After reading it, he sighed, no wonder the old man hasn't decayed after so long, it's a pity that it's just ordinary spiritual energy, it's of no use to me. After evaluating, Su Tian handed the sword to Ling Er. She asked in amazement, huh? Why are you giving it to me? Su Tian replied nonchalantly, take it, I can't use it. Ling Er hurriedly said, no, this is high-quality spiritual energy. In the entire city, something like this is worth at least over 10,000 spirit stones. Su Tian didn't care and turned to leave, saying over his shoulder, if I give it to you, you take it. I really have no use for this. Ling Er happily cheered, that's great, thank you, Su senior brother. After finishing up here, Su Tian took Ling Er and dashed away. After a while, Shaotianu landed in this location, sweating as he looked around and sighed, fortunately, I ran fast. Who were those guys? They came at me without saying a word and just hit me. It's really too much bullying. Meanwhile, as Su Tian was flying, the little system reported, host successfully eliminated Shaotianu's opportunities, receiving a reward of 1,000 fate value. Su Tian thought to himself, calculating the time, if nothing unexpected happens, Shaotianu should have escaped by now, right? Looks like I need to speed up. The little system, aware of his scheme, scolded, host, you are really dark-hearted, planning to have someone attack the heaven's chosen one. Su Tian ignored it and asked, almost forgot. We sent someone to beat him up, so where's the fate reward? The little system replied, host subdued the heaven's chosen one and received 100 fate value points. A while later, at Spirit Mountain Cliff, Su Tian's voice echoed, I can't believe it's the immortal holy pill, and there's even a 1,000-year-old dark phoenix guarding it. He jumped off the sword and called back to Ling Er, it's too dangerous, wait for me here, I'll be back soon. As he watched the phoenix rush towards him, Su Tian recalled the original storyline. Shaotianu was heavily injured while fighting the Dark Phoenix and the Golden-Winged Great Peng, making it easy to obtain the immortal holy pill, but I'm a step ahead of Shaotianu. At this moment, the Dark Phoenix had not yet engaged in battle with the Golden-Winged Great Peng, so he could only resort to direct confrontation. He then asked, System, what realm does this Dark Phoenix belong to? The little system answered, the 1,000-year Dark Phoenix possesses cultivation in the Divine Bridge realm. With the host's current strength, it won't be easy to win. The system recommends the host spend 10,000 fate value points to exchange for a full-strength attack from a strong returning Unity realm. Su Tian angrily retorted, you are truly despicable. Changing it is possible. The system immediately announced, change successful. The phoenix arrived just in time to shout, intruder, die. Su Tian took out a talisman and confidently replied, 1 time equals 10,000 fate points. System, you better pray it works, otherwise, I won't be courteous to you. The phoenix inexplicably took a painful hit, angrily screaming, aura of returning Unity realm, how can this be? Aren't you Dao Palace realm? Damn human, how dare you scheme for the holy pill, stealing my holy pill. Su Tian nonchalantly responded, right now, I'm not going to kill you. In a moment, my subordinate will come to take your life. You just need to clean your neck and wait. After saying that, he flew away on his sword with the holy pill, leaving behind the phoenix's echoing curses. Damn human, I will fight you, not die without a fight. Ling Er, seeing him return, ran to hug him and exclaimed, Senior brother, you finally came back. It was so chaotic down there just now, I thought you wouldn't return, it scared me to death. Su Tian replied with a joyful laugh. Don't worry, I'm fine. It's not convenient to stay here for long, let's go ahead. A moment later, Shaotianu landed near the injured phoenix. As soon as it saw him, the phoenix went mad, screeching, "Human, do you want to die? Even if I die today, I will ensure that you are left with no bones." Shaotianu was chased by it, crying out in grievance, "No, it's a misunderstanding, I didn't do anything, help." On Su Tian's side, he received a notification from the system, "Congratulations host for successfully severing Shaotianu's opportunities, receiving a reward of 3,000 fate points. Host has successfully placed the chosen one under fate's constraints, receiving a reward of 2,000 points." Su Tian happily thought to himself, "It seems that Shaotianu is now targeted by the phoenix, thank you for helping me bear the blame." He looked ahead, wondering, is this the biggest opportunity for Shaotianu in the immortal ancient forbidden land? If I can seize this opportunity, it will be a big gain. Not far away, a few people were gathered discussing, "Everyone, why don't we act together? First we have to resolve the restriction of this cultivation cave, right?" "I think the same." They all united and placed their hands on the door of the cultivation cave, but were all thrown back by the restriction. Su Tian silently witnessed and remarked, "So the restriction of this cultivation cave is actually that terrifying?" The little system explained, "Host, this is the protective mechanism of the fate of Heaven's chosen one, only the Heaven's chosen one can activate it." Su Tian pondered to himself, does it really have to be the Heaven's chosen one? While he was still thinking, Su Tian heard a "gij" sound coming from Ling Er's mouth. Shaotianu arrived just in time and asked in surprise, "Su senior brother, Ling Er, are you two okay?" Ling Er quickly replied, "We are fine, it's just that gij brother." Shaotianu shyly answered, "I'm fine, it's just that this whole journey has indeed been quite dangerous. That immortal ancient forbidden land should not be underestimated." Su Tian also showed a serious expression in agreement. Shao junior brother is absolutely right, the immortal ancient forbidden land is indeed very dangerous, otherwise it wouldn't be called a forbidden land. But inside, he was laughing heartily, this foolish guy probably doesn't realize that the dangers he encounters are actually inherent in the immortal ancient forbidden land. As for Shaotianu, after seeing the cultivation cave, he felt confused, why does this cultivation cave feel very familiar to me? The spirit beside him immediately said, "Perhaps this cultivation cave is related to your background, it is a type of empathetic veins. Let's go in and check." So he turned to Su brother and Ling Er and asked, "Do you know how to enter that cultivation cave?" Ling Er replied, "Gij, the senior brothers tried all methods before but still could not open the door to the cultivation cave, and they even suffered a backlash from the restriction." Su Tian then said, "Shao junior brother, if you have a way, you can give it a try. I will help you clear the path and remove the obstacles." As soon as he finished speaking, he conjured a massive barrier before the entrance of the cultivation cave, causing everyone to be blown away by the barrier. Su Tian calmly said to the others, "Everyone, I have my sights set on this cultivation cave, so please step back." Upon hearing this, the crowd angrily cursed, "Damn it, who is this guy? He's gone crazy. What gives him the right to monopolize this immortal cultivation cave? Is the true spirit realm really that impressive?" One person recognized him and said, "It's Su Tian. They say he's a cold-blooded killer, someone you shouldn't mess with. Let's go, hurry up." Hearing what they said, Ling Er's face darkened as she murmured, "Su Tian Gij is not a bad person like you say." Shaotianu felt helpless and sighed, "This little girl is hopeless." Then he walked up and called back, "Sorry to trouble you, Su brother." Seeing Shaotianu approach, the crowd couldn't help but be surprised and murmured, "Look at their confident demeanor. Do they know how to open this immortal cultivation cave? If so, isn't that even better? Once they open the cultivation cave, we can rush in together. I don't believe that with so many of us, we can't deal with just 3 of them." He. Shaotianu stood at the door and silently asked, "What should I do now?" The soul within him responded, "Try raising your hand." Shaotianu followed the advice and placed his hand on the door of the cultivation cave. Immediately, the door opened, and he said in surprise, "Really? Is it that easy?" Su Tian couldn't help but feel a sense of jealousy deep down. What the hell? On what basis? Just because they are the chosen ones? The crowd outside saw the cultivation cave door opening and rushed forward, shouting, "The door is open, everyone go in, the immortal opportunities are mine." Shaotianu quickly turned to remind Ling Er, "Be careful." Ling Er, however, didn't care and said, "Su Tian, senior brother, be careful." Su Tian gently raised his hand to cast his magic power, quickly creating a barrier to block the crowd and said, "I'll hold them back here, you all go in quickly." Ling Er shouted, "No, Su senior brother, how can you deal with so many people alone?" Shaotianu ignored her and dragged Ling Er inside, shouting, "Ling Er, don't pay attention to him anymore." With his strength, even if he couldn't stop these people, protecting himself would definitely not be a problem. Ling Er was reluctant, yelling, "I don't want to, let me go." Once both of them were inside, the cultivation cave door shut tight. Seeing this, Su Tian laughed happily. "After pretending to be a good person for so long, I almost forgot about myself." He unleashed his aura, laughing heartily, "I am the Demon Emperor." A group of people, filled with fervor, trembled and shouted upon seeing this. "This aura, who are you really? It can't be, don't tell me you are from the true spirit realm. Even if you are from the divine bridge realm, you shouldn't possess such a terrifying aura." Su Tian did not bother to respond. A demonic palm strike immediately slammed down on this group. In an instant, a cloud of dust erupted. After enduring the blow, the group had no strength to resist and angrily asked, "Who are you really? When did our heavenly immortal academy have a figure like you?" Su Tian coldly replied, "Asking so many questions, it seems you still don't understand the situation clearly. Right now, your only chance of survival is to crush the token in your hands." With no other choice, they had to simultaneously crush the tokens and leave. Su Tian cast a faint glance at the cultivation cave door with anticipation. "Next, let's wait and see what surprises they can bring me." That night, both of them burst out of the cultivation cave. Seeing Su Tian sitting outside, Ling Er joyfully exclaimed, "Su Tian senior brother." She rushed over to hug his neck and said, "Su Tian senior brother, you are okay, that's really great." Su Tian changed his tone to comfort her, "Don't worry, those people are not qualified to hurt me." Shaotianu also approached and presented him with an item, saying, "Su brother, there really isn't much in the cultivation cave, perhaps this treasure is the only thing you can value." Su Tian happily accepted it, calmly responding, "So this is a high-grade spiritual energy item. Thank you very much, Shao junior brother." He thought to himself, "I have taken advantage of you, and you still have to gift me a treasure. Isn't this a kind of game as well?" The system then popped up a notification, "Host has successfully suppressed the Heaven's Chosen One, rewarded with 5,000 fate points." Host has successfully made the Heaven's Chosen One voluntarily offer a treasure, rewarded with 3,000 fate points. Hearing this, Su Tian was overjoyed, "I'm hitting the jackpot." Just then, Shaotianu asked, "Su brother, where are the other disciples from before?" Su Tian calmly replied, "I don't know, maybe they saw it was getting late and went home." Upon hearing this answer, Shaotianu pouted, thinking to himself, "I won't believe that easily. This person has extraordinary strength, defeating many disciples here by himself, yet is particularly concerned about Ling Er." Seeing the two of them holding hands, he was infuriated and cursed inwardly, "Let go of each other, don't touch my junior sister." "I'm still here, what are you doing?" The system then displayed a notification, "In front of Heaven's Chosen One Shaotianu, daring to cuckold him. Host is rewarded 50,000 fate points." Shaotianu finally couldn't hold back anymore, he cut in, blocking the hands of the two and said, "Su brother, it seems you and my junior sister are getting a bit too close, aren't you?" Ling Er gasped and defended, "Gidge, what are you doing?" Su Tian casually said, "Why is Shao junior brother saying that? Isn't it normal for a senior brother and junior sister to be a little close?" The more Shaotianu heard, the angrier he got, cursing in his mind, "Normal your grandpa." But Ling Er pushed him away and shouted, "Gidge, what's wrong with you? What did Su Tian do wrong?" Why do you keep targeting him? Clearly, it was Su Tianxie who helped us before, don't you remember? Shaotianu was stunned by her words, stuttering and speechless. Ling Er, he said dejectedly, communicating with the spirit within him. Senior, am I really wrong? I also don't know why every time I see Ling Er with others, I feel like I lose my mind. The spirit then said, this isn't good, you need to calm down so I can see what happened to your hand. Just then, the system displayed the information, name, Shaotianu, identity, high-level heavens chosen 1, fate value, 18,000/10,000. Congratulations, host, for receiving the protection of Xiao Ling Er, creating a barrier between Xiao Ling Er and the heavens chosen 1, earning 30,000 fate points. Currently, Shaotianu's fate value is too low, which has led to alterations in the heavenly Tao. Please be cautious, host. Su Tian then asked, with less than 20,000 fate points left, did he suddenly get angry because the heavenly Tao intervened, right? The system replied, that's correct. Upon receiving this answer, Su Tian couldn't help but chuckle to himself, the heavenly Tao is so foolish, intervening not only fails to yield positive feedback but also helps me out. Since that was the case, he thought of a sly trick and shouted out loud, although I don't know where I offended you, junior brother, this is a conflict between you and me, and it shouldn't involve Ling Er, junior sister. If there was anything offensive before, I apologize. This treasure also belongs to you. Shaotianu was startled by his unexpected action. Thinking back, just now he suddenly protected Ling Er behind him, it seems he truly cares for Ling Er. I have misunderstood him, I really am deserving of blame. What was wrong with me just now? Thinking of this, Shaotianu was dazed, and he spoke up, I'm sorry, the person who should apologize is me. Perhaps there is something wrong with my body, I need to be alone for a while. Ling Er, seeing him like that, called out worriedly, brother. Shaotianu left, not forgetting to call out, Ling Er, let brother be alone for a while, during this time, you should follow Su, senior brother. Su brother, sorry for the trouble. As soon as Shaotianu finished speaking, the system immediately popped up a notification, congratulations, host, you have received the entrustment of Heaven's Chosen One, reward 18,000 fate value. Su Tian asked in confusion, system, what was his action about? The little system thought for a moment and said, host, it seems that this Heaven's Chosen One has signs of awakening. Perhaps the future can escape the control of heavenly Tao and can be nurtured. Su Tian immediately envisioned his current illusion realm with heavenly Tao, then recalled the scene when Shaotianu turned around, instantly coming up with a new idea. So, I can incite the Heaven's Chosen One and later use them to confront heavenly Tao. The system confirmed, correct. Su Tian maliciously thought to himself, it seems that taking the Heaven's Chosen One as my little brother is quite beneficial. At the same time, in another place, 2 disciples ran in panic, shouting, Elder, save me. Elder, save my life. Inside, there is a grand demon leader. Ling Elder scolded them as they approached, hastily, what kind of manner is that? Speak slowly. The 2 disciples immediately recounted the entire incident. After a moment, Ling Elder yelled, well done, that demon leader, daring to harm the disciples of our Heaven Immortal Academy, set up a formation for me, prepare to kill the demon leader. At that moment, Shaotianu came out and, seeing the scene before him, exclaimed in shock, what the hell is that? Elder Ling led the group toward him and shouted, so it was you, unexpectedly colluding with the demon leader to kill the disciples of our academy. We wasted our trust in you. Capture him for me. As soon as he finished speaking, a group of disciples rushed in to attack. After exchanging a few blows, Shaotianu found himself lying helplessly at the bottom of the pit, unable to get up. The Ling Elder ignored him and ordered, hand over the items you obtained in the cultivation cave of the immortal, and I might spare your life. Shaotianu, unwilling to submit, struggled to rise and shouted back, ha ha ha, what a convenient excuse to frame me. What you want are merely the opportunities one obtained from there. Why bother finding such a pretentious justification? Seeing his stubbornness, the Ling Elder moved to strike, unrepentant, then die. At that moment, Su Tian approached, cheerfully saying, "Yo, is it lively here?" The gossipy disciples immediately pointed at him and said to the Ling elder, "Elder, it's him, he is the demon leader." Hearing this, the thug clutched his face and complained incessantly. "Do you need to reconsider what you're saying?" Unable to hold back anymore, he rushed out and hit back, yelling, "You idiot, shut up." At this moment, Su Tian also walked over and casually asked, "Demon leader, are you talking about me?" Ling Elder Run replied, "It's a misunderstanding, all a misunderstanding. Su Young Master is someone personally invited by the academy head, how could he be a demon leader?" The bully added, that's right, Su Young Master is the #1 genius of our Heaven Immortal Academy, not some demon leader. What are you still standing there for? Hurry up and apologize to Su Young Master. The disciple was pressed down by him, reluctantly saying, "I apologize, Su Young Master, it was a lowly person's mistake not to see the mountain." Grateful to Su Tian for saving him once again, Shaotianu said softly, "Thank you." Su Tian calmly asked, "No need for formalities, what are you going to do about them?" Shaotianu remained silent for a moment before shouting, 30 years in Hedong, 30 years in Hite, today they bully me, isn't it just because they rely on my lowly status? He declared, "One day, I will stand at the peak of this world, and make all those who despise me pay for it." As soon as he finished speaking, Su Tian threw him a token. Shaotianu asked in surprise, "What is this?" Su Tian turned around and replied, "This is the identity token of the Su family. Holding this token, you are officially a member of the Su family. If anyone dares to bully you, they will be confronting the Su family." Upon hearing its function, Shaotianu was left speechless. This is too precious, I can't take it. Su Tian smugly said, "Just consider it an investment from me. If you achieve success in the future, don't forget about me." Shaotianu took it seriously, tearfully swearing in every possible way, "I'm so touched. After all these years, you are the first one to treat us siblings sincerely. From now on, your matters are my matters. Although I am insignificant right now, I will definitely be able to help you in the future." Receiving these words, Su Tian cunningly asked the system, "Doesn't this mean I have them in my grasp?" The system happily announced, "Host has successfully recruited the heaven's chosen one Shaotianu, earning the reward of the Saint Artifact Buddha's Wrath Demon Lotus skill." Su Tian was slightly surprised and asked, "Is this reward the Buddha's Wrath Fire Lotus that I know? You're sure it isn't a copy, right?" Little System confidently replied, "You can rest assured to practice with my items, I guarantee you won't have any issues." At that moment, a beam of light shone down from the sky, and Ling Elder shouted loudly, "Who is it?" The visitor was Su Elder. Ling Elder immediately knelt down to pay his respects. "Su Elder, why is it you?" Su Tian felt delighted as he saw the man approaching him and thought to himself, "I didn't expect him to arrive here so quickly." Standing in front of him, Su Elder asked, "You are Su Tian, right? Are you willing to follow me for a trip?" Su Tian happily agreed, thinking to himself, "Old man, you can't sit still this quickly, can you? It seems I might get my chance for revenge on him soon." After finishing his sentence, the two hurried away. Ling Elder looked on and sighed, "I didn't expect even he would come out." The delinquent asked in confusion, "Uncle, who is this Su Elder? Why are you so afraid of him?" Ling Elder explained, "He is a legendary figure. Years ago, Su Elder and the Academy President traversed the vast mountains and eventually established their presence here, founding the Heaven Immortal Academy. Unfortunately, Su Elder's daughter suffers from a strange illness. By now, Su Elder no longer inquires about the Academy and lives hidden in the shadows. It's a pity that if his daughter hadn't fallen ill that year, the Heaven Immortal Academy would have gained more than one powerful saint-level individual." Hearing this, the thug was also surprised and said, "I didn't expect that to be a great power who stands just behind the academy head. This time, with Su Young Master being taken by him, doesn't that imply?" Ling Elder didn't let him finish speaking and turned to command the disciples, "Make sure to pass down my orders, from now on, anyone from our family must not offend members of the Su family when encountered." At the same time, the secret chamber door was opened. Su Elder brought Su Tian to this place and then stopped. Both entered the secret chamber. On the icy bed, a girl was lying there with her eyes closed. Seeing Su Elder bring him in without saying anything, Su Tian asked, "Senior, who is this?" While saying that, he felt pleased in his heart. This is his daughter, he. The system also displayed a pop-up information window, full name, Su Qing Shui, fate value, 1 million/1 million. Epic level Heaven's Chosen Girl. A clone of the Heaven's Chosen Girl from the upper world in the lower world. After reading the information, Su Tian was stunned. The chosen girl of the upper world, and here I am, I haven't even passed through the beginner village of the lower world, yet I've encountered the chosen girl of the upper world. A value of 100 million fate, if I can get my hands on it, wouldn't that mean I'm striking it rich? At that moment, Su Elder spoke up, "She is my daughter, but as you can see, she suffers from a rare illness." Before he could finish speaking, Su Tian took out an item and asked, "This is what you want, right? I can give you the item, but the question is, what can I get in return?" Once he finished speaking and put the item away, Su Elder, a bit worried, said, "What do you want?" "As long as it's something I can offer, you can have it." Su Tian indifferent replied, "I don't think you have anything that would interest me. Whatever your academy has, my Su family has too. And whatever your academy doesn't have, my Su family also possesses, so instead of asking what I want, you should ask what you can give me." Su Elder fell silent upon hearing this. After a moment, he knelt down and proposed, "I am willing to devote my efforts to you for 3 years. Su Tian turned his back and suggested with a finger, then turned around to give the medicine to Su Elder, which surprised him. "What do you mean by this?" Su Tian gently explained, "This is of no use to me, using it to exchange for a favor from the great sage is still very worthwhile." Upon finishing, he helped him up and added a cryptic remark, "Moreover, it's to save a great beauty like this." A while later, Su Tian took over for Su Elder and fed medicine to Su Qing Shui. "Good. Open your mouth." Su Qing Shui obediently complied. This scene made Su Elder, standing a distance away, fume internally, cursing, "I said it, why hasn't this guy left yet? Turns out he's got his eye on my daughter." Just then, Su Tian set the bowl of medicine down, turned his head to look at Su Qing Shui, and advised, "Take care of your health, you are fine now, just a bit weak from sleeping too long." Su Qing Shui felt shy upon hearing these words and bowed her head in slight acknowledgement. But this scene hit Su Elder like thunder in a clear sky, bewildered and shouting, "It's over, it's really over." The system also jumped out with a notification. "Congratulations host for gaining the favor of the Heaven's Chosen Girl, fate value increased by 10,000 points. Su Tian was a bit surprised, mumbling, "Is it really that much? It seems this is truly a fat sheep, absolutely not to be easily overlooked." So he turned his brazen face towards Su Elder. The old man did not even look, silently scolding, "Aren't you planning to leave? I thought you finally decided to go." Left with no choice, Su Elder had to take the bowl of medicine outside. Su Tian stayed behind and shouted, "Sorry to trouble you, Su Senior." Taking advantage of his guardians being away, he sat back down on Su Qing Shui's bed. She noticed he hadn't left and sat up to look at him, but Su Tian used this opportunity to ask, "What's wrong?" Su Qing Shui stuttered, It's too close." Su Tian pulled the blanket over her and comforted her. "Alright, don't think too much anymore. Su Senior is mine, so taking care of his daughter is the least I can do." Su Qing Shui was startled and exclaimed, "Is my father really yours?" Su Tian remained expressionless and said, "That's right, he is my subordinate." Hearing his deceiving words, Su Qing Shui admired him even more. "That's impressive. When I was still healthy, my father was always a very proud person, yet you were able to make him your subordinate, which means you are definitely even more impressive than my father." Receiving praise from the beauty, Su Tian raised his nose in enjoyment of boasting. "Of course, I am the reincarnated heavenly emperor." Su Qing Shui continued to compliment him. "Truly amazing." Just then, Su Elder barged in and shouted, "What are you two talking about?" Su Qing Shui forced a smile and said, "We were just talking Afraid of being exposed, Su Tian quickly covered her mouth and spoke for her. What was it? You just recovered, you need to rest more. Seeing him place his hand on her shoulder, Su Qingxue blushed again. Your hand, your hand. This scene made Su Elder furious, yelling, "Ah, I will kill that brat of yours." And then this scream continued to echo every day. One night at the night market, the system's voice sounded. Host, I want to eat candied hawthorns too. Su Tian was taking Su Qingxue out to play, and upon hearing the system, he sarcastically replied, You are a system, and you can eat? Suddenly, Su Qingxue pulled his hand and smiled, saying, Su Tian Gij, let's go over there and take a look. Over there, several women were releasing lanterns, with one standing out who was in military uniform. Suddenly, this girl heard a familiar sound. If you want to go, I'll go with you. She turned to see Su Tian guiding Su Qingxue for a walk, feeling confused inside. That's Su Tian Gij, who is the woman beside him. Jealousy bubbled up, and an evil energy flared throughout her body. The women releasing the lanterns began to ask each other, Do you feel cold? Why is this weird weather suddenly so cold? Su Tian also turned to ask Su Qingxue, Are you cold? She cheerfully replied, Not cold, but Su Tian still took off his jacket and draped it over her, saying gently, It's cold at night, to avoid catching a cold, you just recovered, don't fall ill again. This scene made the other girl even angrier, cursing, I'm so mad, I'm so mad. That's my Su Tian Gij. What gives her the right? Unable to hold back any longer, she rushed out, hands on her hips, shouting, Su Tian, who is she? Su Tian stared at her in confusion and asked, Who are you? The girl, who had been aggressive, was brought down by his question. Su Tian Gij has forgotten me again, how could he forget me? On what basis could he forget me? Unwilling to back down, the girl rushed in front of Su Qingxue to compete with her aura, then angrily left, leaving the two of them confused. As she was walking, she overheard a striking remark, What a bizarre woman, but why does she seem a bit familiar? Have I met her somewhere before? The system then appeared to explain, Host, of course, you have met her before. She is your cousin. According to the original storyline, she is the female antagonist aligned with you. Upon hearing this, Su Tian curled his lips in disdain, no wonder she seems so brainless. It seems the villain's aura still dulls her intelligence. Seeing his reaction, Su Qingxue asked, What's wrong? Sister, was she a friend of yours? Su Tian turned back to respond, Don't mind her, let's focus on our own fun. Then both of them happily went to release lanterns, the romantic atmosphere as if nothing had ever happened. Su Tian occasionally asked the system, How is the progress? The system replied dejectedly, Currently, the favorability of the heaven's chosen girl towards you is 57%. Upon receiving this answer, Su Tian fell deep in thought, just a little more and the favorability would reach 60%. Today, I must obtain these, all of them are fate value. The system was also helpless, sighing. Is this truly the legendary devil man? But this scene made Su Tian's cousin, who stood at a distance, curse endlessly. You wretches, you are forcing me. Su Tian's Gij can only be mine, just wait for me. So at the moment Su Tian was absent, someone approached Su Qingxue, who was sitting and releasing lanterns, teasing her. Yo, beauty, are you alone? What's so interesting about this? How about coming home with Gij, I'll show you something better. Su Qingxue was frightened by him, backing away while shouting, You, what do you want to do? Before this guy could do anything, he was met with a foot straight to the face. Su Tian turned around, kicked him, and shouted, Get lost. Then, he turned to comfort Su Qingxue, saying, Don't be afraid, I'm here. At the same time, a surge of evil energy rose from afar, sending people on the street into a panic. A man with a darkened face approached, cursing as he walked. Su Tian, how dare you hit me? I'm your Gij. Su Tian looked at him in confusion and asked, Where did this idiot come from? The system immediately responded, Su Bei Wang. A villain simp. Technically, He's your older cousin. Su Tian frowned. A simp for who? The system pointed at him and laughed. Your younger female cousin. Upon spotting his target, Su Bei Wang went crazy and charged forward, yelling, since you refuse to understand reason, today I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of my father. But before he could land a single strike, Su Tian sent him flying with a kick and said coldly, since you bear the Su surname, I'll give you one chance to live. Treasure it. This scene only made Su Qingxue admire him even more. He's so handsome. The system immediately announced, the Heaven's Chosen Girl's favorability towards you has increased by 10. Current favorability, 80. Meeting the reward conditions. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward, 1 million fate points. A high-level holy weapon, the Peach Blossom Sword. Looking at this reward, Su Tian sighed and thought to himself, it seems I know why they have to arrange a villain for the Heaven's Chosen One. This isn't a villain, this is clearly my good buddy. I have waited a long time without gaining any favorability. His arrival is already enough. Meanwhile, Su Bei Wang was still furious and yelled, Su Tian, you are forcing me. The servant quickly intervened, pleading, leader, calm down, leader. Another one sneered, giving advice, your trump card is for the family competition, taking it out to deal with him now is bound to cause a bit of a scene. Thus, Su Bei Wang changed his tone to a threatening one, Su Tian, just wait for me. 3 days later, when the family competition is held, I will definitely make you understand the consequences of offending me. Let's go. After cursing for a while, he turned and left. Su Qingxue then asked, what is the family competition he just mentioned? Su Tian happily replied, it's just an intraclan match, nothing to worry about. On the surface, he said that, but inside, he thought differently. He had not expected the competition day to arrive so quickly. He vaguely remembered that although he had topped the leaderboard in the previous life, becoming the holy son of his clan and obtaining all the resources of the family, he still couldn't acquire the forbidden technique of inheritance in the ancient ancestors' forbidden area. The system then sprang up to explain that, of course, he couldn't obtain that forbidden inheritance technique. According to the information he had gathered, the forbidden inheritance of the old ancestor of the Su family was prepared for the Heaven's Chosen One. When Su Tian heard this, he gritted his teeth. Once again, it was the Heaven's Chosen One, this meant he had to deal with his old ancestor, right? The little system then asked, do you want that inheritance? I can help you. Su Tian pouted and replied, you don't look like a good person. The little system crossed its arms and retorted. What do you mean? How do I not look like a good person? I'm not deceiving you, I don't offer for free, and I won't forget to register. I guarantee you can obtain the forbidden technique, you will definitely profit greatly. Seeing Su Tian hesitate, Su Qingxue quickly asked, what are you thinking about? Su Tian forced a smile and replied, nothing, it's getting late, I'll take you home now. The little system, feeling ignored, cried out, if you don't agree, just wait and regret it. Not only the little system, but also from a distance, Su Tian watched in anger. On top of that, the simp Su Bei Wang approached to apologize to her for the embarrassing incident. As a result, she kicked him away without a second thought. He fell down, but instead of being angry with her, he held a grudge against Su Tian. Su Tian, just wait. In 3 days, I will make you regret it. A moment later, in front of the Su family residence, Su Tian brought Su Qingxue home and gently said, all right, we're home. Su Qingxue didn't rush inside but asked, will I still be able to come and play with you in the future? He cheerfully responded, of course you can. Before he could finish his sentence, Su Qingxue stood on her tiptoes and gave him a kiss. Then she went inside, calling back, see you next time. The system, seeing an opportunity, jumped out and yelled, host, you've fallen. Su Tian cleared his throat and immediately refuted, ahem, how could that be? I've been a villain for 2 lifetimes, how could a little trick from this girl affect me? But it must be said, the Heaven's Chosen Girl is indeed different, so soft. The sinister system enticed, host, trust me, once you obtain the forbidden technique of the old ancestor of the Su family, you can have as many soft sisters like this as you want. Hearing its persistent invitation, Su Tian asked, I'm starting to get curious. The forbidden technique of the old ancestor of the Su family can only unleash 10 times the potential in a short period, which basically isn't worth this price. So what else is there about this forbidden technique that I don't know? The system explained, of course there is. Otherwise, how could you, the supervillain, have received the recognition of the forbidden technique inheritance? I can only tell you this. This forbidden technique comes from a great emperor of antiquity who emerged from the forbidden area. Upon hearing this, Su Tian was startled. Could it really be the Chaos Ancient Great Emperor? In my previous life, I had a confrontation with a Heaven's Chosen One who had the inheritance of the Chaos Ancient Great Emperor. That guy could cause several planets to explode with just a flick of his fingertip. Thinking of this scene, Su Tian became hot-blooded, laughing maniacally as he said, that forbidden technique, I want it. A few days later, at the Su family's martial arts arena, Su Qingfeng, the ancestor of the Su family, presided over this year's competition. He scanned the crowd and asked, where is Su Tian? Su Beiwang and several others burst into laughter, saying, I bet he's been worn out by women and might even still be unconscious, haha. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Qingfeng rushed over and scolded, shut up. Is it your turn to speak here? Su Beiwang fell silent. Just then, he spotted Su Tian walking by, accompanied by 2 others. Su Tian observed the earlier scene and commented, I told you, the plot of the protagonist being ridiculed and then slapping the faces of the villains could never happen to someone like me. At that moment, the voice of Su Tian's cousin rang out, clearly there are so many women besides Su Tian Gij, why won't they accept me? What is it about me that is inferior to this woman? The evil energy she radiated filled the square. Seeing Ling Er leaning against him, Su Tian gently asked, what's wrong, Ling Er? Ling Er softly replied, no, it's nothing, I just feel a bit cold. After walking a bit further, all 3 of them approached a middle-aged man. He was Su Guangzhan, Su Tian's father. Upon seeing him, he burst into laughter and asked, son, you're here. Who are these 2? Ling Er quickly replied, hello, uncle. My name is Xiao Ling Er, and this is my brother, Shaotianu Su. Su Tian added, they are my junior brother and junior sister from the Heaven Immortal Academy. Su Guangzhan laughed again and said, very good, very good. This girl looks very obedient, she would make a suitable daughter-in-law for the Su family. Ling Er could only awkwardly stammer, uncle, she's still young. At that moment, the voice of the old ancestor rang out. He continued to look at the group of disciples and said, now that we have enough people, shall we begin? Seeing Su Tian approach the group of disciples, Ling Er clenched her fist in encouragement. Su Tian Gij, go for it. He jumped into the center of the arena. Su Beiwang gritted his teeth and cursed inwardly, what are you pretending for? Isn't it just a father with advanced realm? I'll see what you have left when your father is gone. When the old ancestor saw that there were enough people, he continued, the clan battle is about to begin. The rule of the battle is simple. Defeat everyone on the stage until only one person stands, the winner takes all. Our Su family does not need useless people, so now, let the battle begin. As the old ancestor stepped down from the arena, Su Beiwang smirked and said, make your move, take down Su Tian first. Immediately, all the disciples shifted their focus to surround Su Tian. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe to Lucy Recap to stay updated with the latest chapters.